Although born a continent apart, he in New York in 1922 and she in Germany in 1925, Charles and Eva Rappaport were made for one another. They shared a love of helping others, a passion for serving, and a determination to do the right thing. Charlie was born and raised in Brooklyn along with his younger brother Robert. He graduated from Franklin K. Lane High School in 1940 and went on to study at New York University. After 3 years at NYU, Charlie joined the Army to serve his country during World War II. The youngest of Luik and Frida Bokian's 3 children, Eva was born and raised in Berlin. As a Jew in Germany during the Nazi regime, Eva was able to survive the Holocaust because she worked as a children's nurse in a Jewish hospital. Eva and Charlie met in post-war Berlin, where she was working as a secretary in the U.S. Army chaplain's office, and he was working to resettle refugees with the United Nations Relief and Rehabilitation Administration. They met at Friday Sabbath services in September 1946 and were married 3 months later. The two remained in Germany and in 1950 had their first child, Jay. A year later, after most of the displaced persons camps were closed, the family immigrated to the United States and settled in Crown Heights in Brooklyn. 2 years later, their son Perry was born, and 3 years after that, Edie arrived. Charlie took a job with Singer Sewing Machines as a repairman to support his new family, until he became licensed to sell life insurance and pensions, which he did until his retirement in 1980. In 1962, Charlie and Eva moved to Carlisle Towers Co-op B in Flushing, New York. They both immediately fell in love with co-ops and became active members. Soon after, Charlie was elected to the co-op's board and he reached out to the Federation of Section 213s to get additional information. From then on, he was hooked. In 1968, Charlie became president of the Federation of Section 213s and quickly began growing its membership and expanding its focus to represent all housing cooperatives. Within 10 years, the organization had even changed its name to the Federation of New York Housing Cooperatives to reflect this broader goal. While leading the Federation, Charlie was a strong and vocal advocate for New York housing cooperatives, making sure that they were heard on issues of asbestos, lead, energy, and citywide labor contracts. He fought for real estate tax abatements for seniors living in co-op housing, as well as for veterans living in co-ops. Across the board, his efforts helped ensure that cooperative homeowners received the same benefits accorded single-family homeowners. And his advocacy work had national impact as well. For example, Charlie worked to get Congress to create the Cooperative Management Housing Insurance Fund, which separated the FHA mortgage insurance premiums paid by the 213s from all other FHA insurance funds. For 40 years now, this fund has returned patronage dividends to Section 213 housing cooperatives throughout the country. Eva's contributions may have been less visible than Charlie's, but they were nonetheless pivotal. Eva served as the Federation's executive director for many years, running the office out of their home, preparing regular newsletters, planning conferences, editing conference proceedings, and keeping track of membership records. She was the quiet diplomat behind it all, and it is no surprise that she became known affectionately as the boss. Together, Charlie and Eva built a strong educational program for housing cooperative board members. The Federation's educational program exemplified the motto penned by Charlie, "An informed board is an effective board." Their leadership within the National Association of Housing Cooperatives was strongly supportive of its role in cooperative education as well as advocacy. Both Charlie and Eva served as leaders within the National Association of Housing Cooperatives for many years, contributing to its effective education and legislative programs. Their legislative efforts to create the National Cooperative Bank and the Fannie Mae secondary mortgage market for co-ops, as well as their work to allow lenders to treat share loans as real estate loans, has helped 100,000 families each year as they buy into a housing co-op. But their work didn't stop with getting legislation enacted. They always went one step further, ensuring that people learned about pertinent law changes and providing educational seminars throughout the country to stimulate interest in adopting the cooperative model. The two were honored with NAHC's highest award in 1989, and Eva's memory is honored each year by the Federation, which gives the Eva Rappaport Award to the volunteer co-op leader who shows the most grit and determination in fighting uphill battles. Also, in 2001, NAHC established the Charlie and Eva Rappaport Award to recognize the Outstanding Youth Council Program of the Year. All in all, Charlie served as his housing co-op's president for more than 20 years, and as the Federation's president for nearly 30. Every minute of that as a volunteer, and much of it with Eva by his side. The two devoted countless hours and their personal resources to co-op education and advocacy work. They always believed in the philosophy of cooperative housing. In fact, they were so devoted to the cooperative concept that they even coordinated the conversion of their summer rental development into a successful cooperative community. For over 50 years, Charlie and Eva Rappaport were inseparable. They were partners in everything they did, and one doubts that there was any coincidence that their deaths were on the same day, 3 years apart. The cooperative community still grieves the loss of these two great cooperators. Their legacy is phenomenal, and it will live on for years to come. Tonight, we remember and honor them for all that they have done.